Guess who's back? At it again. It's me. But hello, everyone. How is y'all doing today? On this fine Monday. It's my last week of staying consistently before my whole doing college thing. But rest assured that I will return stronger than before. Actually, not really stronger than before. It's just now I'll know how to take photos. Because one of my classes is photography. But anyway. So, I have a new character. She's in the same world of Stella. Her name is Folly. And I have a bunch of potential pose references I can use for her. Excluding the P crew, by the way. In fact, I have her professional outfit. Actually, let me do something. So, for anyone wondering why I have this, like, super bright blue hair for Folly, there will be an explanation eventually. But all I can really say is, you know, Scions in the story also tend to have a bit of anime hair. Because they're technically not even human in the first place. They are instead a different species. Homo Sionis, specifically. They're basically the equivalent of the X-Men in Marvel and the Metahumans in DC. But of course, I'm pretty sure those would be considered copyright. So I just refer to them as Scions. Also, apparently, until fairly recently, Marvel and DC held copyright for the word superhero. I mean, just like, what? Excuse me? Excusez-moi? Excusez-moi? And you're just like, what? Like, how in the world is... Why was superhero copyright? Personally, I'm surprised that both of them held the copyright and did not fight each other. Or to just have only one of them keep the copyright. Yeah, if you're wondering why people outside of DC and Marvel haven't been using the term superhero for the past, like, gajillion years, that is why. They were keeping the word to themselves. For some reason. and that I honestly can only describe as corporate greed. But yeah. So this character is Folly. She is one of Stelly's co-workers, basically. But basically, one of the things about Folly is that she is kind of like sort of full of rage for the how do I describe this? She just doesn't really like the government. Let's just say that. Let's just be blunt and about it. She doesn't really like the government. And as she is the same species as Stella, who is also kind of trying to dismantle the government and expose the governmental conspiracy involving her people, you can probably tell why her Folly here is also not so favorable of the government. It is quite it's quite shrimple. They've essentially been like forcing their people to like breed stronger scions to make them into superheroes, basically. It is like the best way I can describe it without getting too into the nitty-gritty. And in the case of Stella, as she is, you know, her parents kind of like fled from the government, and because of that, because they, you know, wanted to be able to love each other and, you know, be parents. And something about the story is that usually the kids are taken away from the parents, like, pretty young. Like, as soon as they are weaned off of breast milk. Or if they even allow the parents to breastfeed the kid. That they can do it even earlier. And pretty much, Folly is like one of those kids who was, you know, part of that governmental program. And because of that, let me put these all in a folder. Bum, ba, bum. Let me pull up my keyboard. So to kind of like explain Folly, she purposefully makes her powers weaker. Or like, makes her powers seem pretty weak. Because she does not want to be recruited into the government as a superhero. Or like, just have to deal with the government more than she has to. She's also one of the secretaries at, you know, her and Stella's job. In fact, she helped Stella get into the same job position she is in. But basically, for Folly, she is like one of the higher ranked secretaries. Like, she kind of like deals with some of the more powerful heroes. Including one who is basically a clown that can cause those hallucinations. And I'm probably gonna give the clown other powers too. But those powers are yet to be debated. Essentially, the Folly, because she's mainly assigned to a specific kind of like sort of retired hero who now like trains some of the newer heroes, who I'm also making so that he is the uncle of the protagonist. Like, the only person who knows is the uncle. Stella does not really know, but finds him, like, really familiar in a way that is kind of horrifying. Because she's just like, why does this man look like my father? My father is dead. But turns out, he is her dad's twin. And who didn't really escape, but instead has been kind of like supporting his brother and his sister-in-law through like other means, like kind of like giving, like trying to do as much as he can, but like stealthily. Like, I'm not sure if I can, like, I named him after like a stained glass term because, you know, Stella and her sister are able to manipulate glass, and there's, you know, a bit of a stained glass theme with Stella. Hold on. Sorry about that. Let me go, add to the sneeze counter. 20 sneezes in total. So his name is Grisai. Or if I am to butcher the French word, Grisaille. But I'm just hold on. I'm gonna check how it's pronounced. Okay, there's a word.
Grisai.
Grisai. Which, for those who don't know, it is a glass pest term. It's a method of decorative painting in monochrome gray, especially but not exclusively on stained glass windows, according to allaboutglasspest.org, from the Corning Museum of Glass. Or it's brown paint made from iron oxide, which when fused to glass defines details in a stained glass window. I didn't really name Stilly specifically after stained glass terms. I just named her after, like, a structure. Because, you know, as she is, you know, not one of the superheroes in the story. she doesn't really have a stained glass themed name. But essentially, so to describe her relationship, Stella's relationship with Folly, Folly is kind of like one of her closest friends, like one of her confidants, who like was one of her like who's like one of the people who is the closest is to her and her sister Pylon. In fact, Folly often helps around and with like her and with the sisters, like helps them do errands and stuff, because she knows that even though Stella, his disability technically isn't as severe as her sister Pylon, she knows that, you know, they both have POTS, so it's probably better to have someone else there to assist them who, you know, is not chronically ill and can do things more often than they might be able to do them. Like, she will probably, like, she often, like, bring his food. She often helps them with, like, grocery shopping. Like, usually, Folly will be, you know, carrying in a cart with her, unless his Pylon is, you know, using one of the, you know, the steering cart thingies. But those can't really hold much. So, usually it's like, you know, Folly is the one with the cart. Her Stella, he is either holding a basket in her rollator or in her hand, depending on which mobility aid she is using. And Pylon is either in her wheelchair with a basket in her lap while self-propelling, or she's using one of those mobile cart thingies just to help her, like, get around. Also, I'm kind of basing Folly's appearance somewhat off of a member of Blackpink, specifically Lisa, which I was looking on a site called Fashion Chingu, because they have, you know, they have, like, clothing and stuff that K-pop members wear, and, like, you can buy those, and some of them are, like, they're not, like, too expensive, actually. Like, the shoes are the more expensive one, but they usually are around, like, 20 to 40 bucks each. The shoes are, like, the most expensive, because I assume they're, like, made to last and are high quality. But I saw this pair of shoes, who's here, and I was just like, oh, that is definitely something Folly would wear, because of, you know, the flames and stuff, as Folly has flame-based powers. And to kind of like explain Folly, she has pyrokinetic abilities, but she's able to control it strongly enough so that usually her flames are like cool to the touch. Like, she ends up not being able to like really cause fires all that often. And I took her word from the Korean word for firework. I just shortened it to the first like 2 syllables. Bulko. I don't fully remember her like the actual full word, but I kind of like separated them. But essentially to kind of like she is kind of like an informal caretaker for Stelle and Pylon. Like, she knows she doesn't have to help them. However, she feels like, you know, as, you know, Stelle's friend, she knows that she kind of like, she knows it's like a good thing to do as a friend, to like help her friends when they need to, because, you know, that has something to do like as a person. Like, it's a matter of helping others when they need help, even if they might deny that they need it. That they probably might need it more often than they, you know, think they do. But yeah. Essentially, that is, you know, Folly. She, you know, even though she was technically, like, sort of indoctrinated by the government to become a superhero, like, from birth, she chooses instead to, like, just be someone who chooses to be kind and to the people around her. In fact, it's partially why he encouraged Folly to, like, take another job. Also, his legs are stiff as hell. So I'm just gonna delete them. But essentially, Folly, you know, works 2 jobs. Her quote-unquote main job is, you know, as a secretary for her Grisai at the agency. But her technical actual job, like her actual main job, is, of course, you know, being a performer at a, like, nightclub, basically. She is, you know, one of the performers who, like, she's, like, one of the most high energy performers, and is, like, very popular, especially among the female audience members of the club, or, like, the female attendees. You know, she's, like, kind of like, I'm gonna make her for the Sapphics, basically. Because she right now is like the only female character that I have in the story with a romantic route that I have planned for the story. Of course, there is, you know, the whole thing about I might not be able to, like, actually make a lot of progress on this story until, like, Pachuli's Revenge is done. That is, of course, something I'm fine with. Because, you know, that is just the inherent nature of creation. But I want to at least have the story marinate a little bit. As, you know, I want to be able to, like, have a bit of the story figured out. So that if and when I ever, like, decide to actually make this into a story, I kind of, like, have some stuff ready to, like, develop it. Like, I already have some characters, some of them already have designs. All I really need to do is just write the story. I'm probably only going to start off with, like, only making, like, one route for the story. Yeah, until, like, I'm able to figure some stuff out. Like, I'm probably going to, like, develop the story by route by route. Essentially, I am going to kind of, like, figure out the main story, like, the main story beats. So, like, kind of, like, one at a time. Like, I already have several routes planned. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 routes that I currently have planned for the story. And 4 of those routes are, like, if you pick a specific character to go with. Either one of the 3 heroes that you are assigned to as an assistant, or you decide to ally more with Folly. And of course, there is 2 other routes. One is referred to as the Rule of 3, and I made this before, you know, I made Folly into a potential, like, romantic, like, interest. It's for the main character. It's essentially the polyamorous route where you decide to, like, just work with all 3 of the heroes that you are assigned to. And then there is Plunged into Darkness. And it's essentially, you know, like, one of the darker routes. The other darkest route is for, you know, one of the heroes that you pursue. Because he, you know, has a lot of trauma. And because of that trauma, you know, there's some issue stuff he has to unlearn and about the world and stuff. And of course his story gets pretty dark, and I can't really explain it without like listing several trigger warnings. So I'm not really going to explain it because I also only really have like vague, you know, stuff about it to really like it's not really enough to kind of like make a full story, like fully explain the trauma and stuff. Because there is just a lot of stuff involving him specifically. Like, he has to unlearn certain things. Which, to be fair, all the heroes need to unlearn a lot of stuff. Because, you know, to kind of like describe them, they're like they're like the second generation of heroes who are kind of like born into the role. Well, because of the government. They were, you know, kind of like born into a facility, raised in said facility, and just trained so that they could become superheroes. Because of that, they don't really know a lot about the outside world. Like, not a lot compared to, you know, what their parents and grandparents would know. But, you know, they don't really know their grandparents because traditionally the kids are taken away from their birth parents at a young age to be trained. And it's mostly so that they, you know, don't get too attached to their family. Of course, it's going to end up backfiring in the story if you end up with the true ending. But yeah. I just kind of like to explain the routes and stuff, and like the reason why some of the characters are who they are. In fact, so there is one character who's like kind of like based off of heroes who become heroes as children, and therefore are kind of like forced to grow up very quickly, but are often still viewed as, you know, kids because they started doing superhero stuff as they were like school aged, and therefore they were kind of like forced to grow up faster than some of their peers, and end up envying some of them. And because they were able to kind of like have childhoods. And that's specifically involving a hero named Electrum. He was, you know, one of those child superheroes. But now, here he is, over a decade later, trying to distance himself from how people perceived him as a child. Because originally his superhero name was Electric Boy, which is a reference to a J-pop song. But now he's going by the a different name called Electrum. And yes, I'm pretty sure that is a currency in Dungeons and Dragons. So, essentially, his story deals a lot with, like, the infantilization of certain people. Like, like, for example, because of the fact that he started off being a hero as a kid, hence his former alias of Electric Boy, some people still view him as a spry young kid, despite him being like 27 or something. But also because he is, Asian. Or like he's like East Asian in terms of descent. And just like Folly here. And something a lot of people tend to like infantilize East Asian people from what I know. Like especially K idols and stuff. Like, talking about them like they're, like children or something. Or like toys. And this isn't even going into the whole issue of parasocialism that happens with idols and stuff. Especially in Japan, where it's like one of the most prevalent things. But, that is something that eventually gets explored in the story. Like, for the issue of, becoming a popular figure as a child and likely ending up with burnout. Which, actually, that happened in Megamind. That actually happened in Megamind, actually. It's just Megamind all over again. Sorry, I was yapping too much and my dad was trying to get my attention. Until ask where one of my cats was. She is probably somewhere in my room because that's where I put her. That's where she was when I woke up. And last time she was on my bed, but she is no longer on my bed. But yeah. So I'm going to name these layers into whatever outfit she is going to be in. And I'm going to also add, some of her colors. There's here as well. Which I'm only really going to do, like, some of her colors from, like... I'm just going to do the colors on her head. Because, you know... It is, like... It's probably a bad idea for me to just color the entire base. Just with her skin tone, because, you know, it'll probably flag it as something that it's not meant to be. And then my Twitch will end up being bonked. So I'm just going to color her to her neck. So I'm now going to do some of her other colors, you know, beforehand. And essentially to, like, describe Folly a little bit, she isn't just like a person who is like a performer and also the secretary or assistant for Grisai. She's also someone with an alter ego. She is, in fact, her alter ego is that of a supervillain who is only known as Ignite. And her powers are, like, very strong. She has powerful blue flames. Which, fun fact, blue flames burn hotter than red flames because of temperature and stuff. And because of that, you know, she is technically, like, both one of the more non-threatening characters and one of the most dangerous characters in the story. But she doesn't target civilians. She knows what she must target. And that is the powerful people of the world. And in the city that the story is set in, there is, you know, it's kind of like the epicenter for a bunch of, you know, like a bunch of businesses. And of course, you know, the main superhero agency that exists in the world. Or like just in their, you know, government. Because she and Stelle are technically government workers. They, you know, work with the government by a technicality, as, you know, the heroes are, you know, assigned and by the government. So the people who assist them in their day-to-day lives are also considered people who work for the government. This includes Folly and Stelle. And in the case of Stelle, she is, you know, kind of like kind of like also a bit of a one of those like caretakers, because you know the hero she is assigned to is also disabled, just like Folly, his best friend, and then her bestie sister. Whoop-de-doo. So yeah. The experience she kind of has with, you know, Stelle and Pylon ends up translating well to when she, you know, starts working with Mr. Hisai. And because of that, as she ends up, you know, being like one of his best assistants that he's ever had. And she actually ends up realizing pretty quickly, hey, he kind of looks like a friend of mine. And when she, you know, makes that connection, she's just like, oh shit, this is my friend's, this is a relative of my cousin, I mean, not cousin, a relative of my friend. And also, hello Kiri, hello, how are you? I am rambling about OCs and stuff. And also, thank you for the follow! That was a follower goal! And now, there's a cat meowing. He wants to leave. You wanna go? Please? She doesn't really like me talking to other people. Like, even if it's like on the internet and stuff. So she is just like, I don't like this. She thinks that there is like another person secretly in the house. Or like in my room. So she's just like, get me away from here. Or I don't want to be perceived by anyone else. And start goal. Yes. Hello, Kirill. So how are you? I hope you're doing well. If you just want to lurk, you are free to lurk. But if you want to yap with me about my OCs and stuff, please feel free to yap with me. I need more people to yap with. Like, usually it's just me and my Tengia bot. It ends up getting a little lonely here, or sometimes. But luckily I can yap to myself. That is one of my abilities. I can kind of like just yap to myself. Because I am, after all, a streamer. And as a streamer, I must yap to myself sometimes. And to basically kind of like explain what I'm doing. I am making, I'm designing a new OC. Her name is Folly. And she is kind of like both an assistant to a superhero, but she has like an alter ego where she is, you know, a supervillain that often targets, you know, people who are in power. And essentially just decides they are not worth, they don't deserve the power that they have. So they kind of just go like, original character indeed. Her name is Folly Bulko. She's like vaguely Korean encoded in terms of like her name and stuff. And because of that, she, you know, is often like, isn't it great to be an artist when it's basically a god? Yeah. Am I a fan of Korea? Not really. I do appreciate like I appreciate the culture, but it's not something that I've really hyperfixated on. What I hyperfixated on when I was a kid was Japanese culture, because anime was like really big, like way back then. I didn't really get into K-pop until later in my life. Like when I was in high school and stuff. I find Korean culture is a bit too materialistic for your taste. Yeah. But I'm kind of like trying to take inspiration from different cultures around the world for the characters in this story specifically. Like, of course, there is another character who's like meant to be like vaguely Japanese coded. But then and Folly here is meant to be, you know, Korean. But there is another character. His name is his hero name is Lancer, but his actual name is Gino. He's meant to be Georgian, as in the country in West Asia, and not the state in the United States. Not the place where Justin Bieber gets his peaches, but instead the country that is in the Caucasus. So he is West Asian. I think I need to make the sketch color brighter. Okay, yeah, it's now more visible. But yeah. Essentially, the big thing about Folly and like all of the other characters in the story here is that, especially for the heroes, they don't actually really know a lot about their ancestry and stuff. And the reason why that is pretty simple. A lot of them were kind of like just born and raised in a facility. And, you know, didn't really get to have much contact with their family at all. Like, they never really got to know who their ancestry, where their family came from. Some of them usually only have just their names to go by. Like, you know, Folly, for example, she only really has her last name to really know where her ancestors came from. Which is like this world, the world's version of the Korean Peninsula. And of course she is pretty bitter about it because she, you know, never really got to know her family. And they likely never got to really know her. And because of that, she ends up becoming increasingly bitter to, you know, certain aspects of, you know, the, you know, country and, you know, city that she is currently living in. She just grows, she's just grown very bitter toward all of it. And of course, this doesn't really include, you know, some of the other things that she experienced in her life. You know. So to kind of like explain a bit of the story, Folly and a bunch of other characters in the story are a species. In regards to other cultures, it's crazy how many good artists aren't getting any recognition because they are from a country with a smaller market. Yeah. Essentially, to kind of like explain Folly and some of the other characters in the story, they are technically not in the human species. They are from a species referred to as scions. One of the hallmarks of a scion is that they usually have like abnormal eye and hair colors, aka anime hair syndrome. It's usually like to denote their powers and abilities. Folly, for example, has blue hair and yellow eyes. And this is kind of like to denote that she has, you know, fire and pyrotechnic based abilities. You really try to read books that are not American, but they fill up every bookstore. Even Germany, oof. But yeah, essentially one of the big things about, you know, the world the world that I'm building here is that scions, once the government realized that they were of use, made a program for like superheroes and stuff. And this, you know, allowed some scions to, you know, get jobs where they could like use their powers for good and get paid. That is the most important thing. They were getting paid to do stuff with their powers. However, after some time, certain scions began disappearing to like never really be seen again. And that's because the government was secretly, in the story, that is, they were planning on, you know, trying to make more powerful scions so that they could be used as like essentially soldiers within the story. like, essentially, they wanted to make stronger people with stronger powers so that they could be used for their own wills. And, you know, because if they're, you know, raised by the people in the government, it's far easier to, you know, manipulate them to do what the government wants them to do. And because of that, that's how you get the next few generations of heroes. It's like very sad and heartbreaking. That, and, you know, because they usually don't get, like, outside perspectives. They are, you know, far more compliant with, you know, what the government is just telling them. It's just like, pretty sad and stuff. But yeah. It's kind of like a bit of world building of the story. You know, for y'all as a little tweeto. But yeah. It is, you know, Folly. And basically, like, what she is like. But anyway. I'm gonna try and, like, give her another outfit. You know, kind of like... But basically... yeah, Folly as, you know, a scion. She, you know... she was sort of like one of the people who wasn't really like... she was one of the people who were kind of like born into who the organization due to the government program for, you know, making new heroes. It was that are like basically groomed by the government in order to be subservient. You know, to them. And, you know, because of that, Folly ends up being, like, pretty bitter about it. Because, you know, she never really got to know who her parents were. In fact, he never even got to really know them. She doubts that she'll ever get to know her actual family. Because, you know, it's very likely that they are still, you know, trapped, essentially, to just be forced to create new scions based on, you know, what the government wants the powers to be. So they force people who don't love each other to, you know, have children together. It's just very horrific on all ends. Because neither of the parents sign up for it. And they're essentially trapped anyway. Okay, so, they, can't really say no to it. In fact, Stella and her sister Pylon are trying to reveal the secret. And Folly, of course, because she was one of those, you know, scions who were created as a result of that program, just decides to help them. You know, initially she probably didn't even realize that they were trying to, like, reveal that secret about the government. And when she, you know, first, you know, sees, you know, recruits Stella into the agency. But, of course, when she finds out, how she is just like, can I help? I would like to help. Especially if it involves fire. Like, she really wants revenge. And for what happened. And to, you know, a bunch, like, hundreds of scions like her. And so far, she is pretty sure that she's, like, one of the few who was able to escape. Like, she's pretty sure that there haven't been a lot of, you know, those scions who were born into the program who successfully escaped to, you know, live life outside of, you know, being forced to be born and to become the next generation of superheroes. Like, she doesn't really know anyone else who, you know, was like that. Eventually, she finds out that the main reason why she was able to escape in the first place was Mr. Grisai! Whoop-de-doo! Because essentially, Mr. Grisai kind of started off with, you know, his twin brother and, you know, the woman who became his sister-in-law to, like, escape from the, you know, facility to, you know, be able to, you know, love each other freely and, you know, actually raise their own kids. They end up being taken in by the local community of scions with open arms. Because, you know, scions help out other scions. It's like what they do. And because of that, you know, because of the community and, you know, the main thing about the hero agency is that usually like after, you know, the first generation of heroes born into the government, they end up realizing, oh shit, there's a bunch of scions that were born into this with genetic disorders. Like, at least one of them, like, two of them have chronic pain disorders. And those two people were Stelly's, his dad, and Mr. Grisai. Those chronic pain disorders end up being passed down to her and Pylon. So the chronic pain is just the cursed family gift that keeps on giving. Like, and because of that, they end up screening the, you know, genetics of the, you know, scions a little more carefully after the, you know, first generation to try and prevent, you know, having more scions born into the program with pain disorders and stuff. Which is sort of just eugenics. Let's just be honest, it's just eugenics. Like trying to play God with, you know, making superheroes. It's very horrific. But, you know, because of that, they kind of like Mr. Grisai, because he knew that his brother was in love with another member of person who was, you know, in the program, and that person, you know, loved him back. Like, he was just like, I'm gonna do the most brotherly thing I can do. And the brotherly thing to do is help them escape and, you know, become, like, be able to be together. Of course, because, you know, his Mr. Grisai's brother, who I still have not a name for, or was, you know, considered unsuitable for the program, who was, like, slowly being taught, like, stuff to, like, survive outside of, you know, being a superhero. Because he was also deemed not so very suitable for being a hero either. And due to that, he was, like, kind of, like, being transitioned out of, you know, becoming a superhero. But the person he was in love with was relatively healthy physically, and therefore was not being transitioned out of that program. However, he wanted her to, they both wanted to, you know, have a life together. And because of that, Mr. Grisai ends up deciding to, like, help them both so that they could, you know, be together. Which was partially caused by, you know, one of faking results to denote the other person as infertile and like incapable of having kids, so that they could just like leave. And, you know, be able to like create new identities as just normal people. And they couldn't really like figure out a name for a new surname for themselves. So they like when they literally decided to get married after, you know, that stunt that allowed them to like, you know, be together, they decided to just use one of their abilities as just the basis for their surname, which, for context, Mr. Grisai and his twin have the ability to manipulate glass, which is one of the names for it is Hylokinesis. So they just use Hylau as their surname. It's that simple. And because of that, you know, they were kind of like able to, you know, be together and, you know, have Pylon and Stele. So, yeah. I'm actually going to go take a break because, you know, I forgot to do my intermission earlier. Oops. So I should probably go do that now and, you know, get rid of the mucus in my throat. So I'll be back in a few minutes. Alright, I'm back. Turns out the pollen levels are creeping up. So I am suffering. There's a reason I have the disease counter. But yeah. I'm actually gonna take a little break from designing Folly. Hello, Anadi! I hope you're doing well. My model is cute. I'm glad you think so. Oh, unfortunately, I'm going to retire this model like sometime after my semester or induced hiatus. So you bet it'll look cute regardless. Yeah. Actually, let me go get Live 2D out. That's so I can show you. Because I only really need to add the augmented physics. And maybe some like extra parameters for physics. Along with, you know, the toggles. That's all I really need to add before my 2.0 will be considered complete. So this is the model. I have a lot of things to do. I need to copy and paste the left ear to the, you know, right side. That is a job for me sometime this week. But also, what the fuck? What is going on? I think I have encountered scuff. I have indeed encountered scuff. A parameter that is probably wrong. The main reason why it's kind of like that is because I copied and pasted the left and right arm, so I wouldn't have to like do the parameters. Yeah, I know I do. Oh. I realized where I messed up. Let's just vaguely work on that. You have the same problems, don't worry. Yeah. So, I just... Okay, so that is the face position Z. AKA the lean forward and lean back. So I also need to do some aug physics over here. Like specifically for the body X, Y, and Z. But I do pretty much have all of the rotations and stuff done. So if I go to the physics settings, you're always redoing your model, so trying to keep up with everything. So there is still a bit of scuff here with the hip parameter, but there is, of course, some things that need to be done. So body Z. There we go. That is kind of like what I plan on doing. I think I kind of messed up the hips a little bit. I went out of my way to... Did I go out of my way to say lefty D, or did I just do trial and error? I just mostly did trial and error with a little bit of, you know, consulting, like, tutorials along the way. Same. I see the problem here. There's an issue with the steppy. You're too stubborn to sit and learn first, and you'll need to do it first, then you'll look for help. Yeah. So I kind of like the trial and error is kind of like how I ended up learning how to do my first ever model. Well, anyway. So alright. I'm gonna just move those to lower body. I don't really need that one. You intend to work more with Left D, you will be creating models for your OCs. Ooh, that's pretty cool. Not gonna lie, that is probably something I need to do in the future too. You know, make models involving my OCs. Maybe in the future take commissions for Life to D. Yeah. That's something that I probably need to do too. Like, in the future. Like, I eventually need to start taking commissions and stuff. But right now, I am still somewhat new to this. That and, you know, I am, you know, experiencing the whole, I am, you I'm going to be in college thing anyway, soon, regardless. So, because of that, I, you know, can't really, like, do a bunch of stuff that I kind of want to, in terms of, like, taking in commissions. Like, commissions is something that I want to take eventually. Like, I want to eventually do commissions. However, as you know, I am currently getting very close to the woes that is college classes. I don't think I'll be able to, you know, do any commission taking anytime soon. At the very least, I'm probably going to open up commissions when I'm, like, no longer actively in classes, which is roughly going to be around May. I have Discord indeed. You are free to join the Discord. So let's just work on these parameters. Until I eventually no longer need to. Creating characters' backstory using current stories is considered being a writer. Yeah, it can be. Like, if you're someone who writes stuff. But also, thank you for the follow, oh Anna. Yeah, essentially, like, if you, like, create stories and stuff for characters, you are technically a writer in my eyes. You're welcome, Indeeda Woo. But yeah. Writing doesn't really mean you have to be, like, a dedicated writer who just spends all day writing. Because sometimes you can't really dedicate all of your time to doing that. Sometimes you need to, like, dedicate time to doing something else. Alright. Now let's check this again. It is still a little cursed, but it is at least somewhat better. I'll have to do like the half step eventually. But for now, I'm going to save this. And close. because I need to work on this. And I'm gonna turn off the headboard or the layer. And honestly, I'm just going to use like curve tools in order to like make the pillow. Follow me everywhere. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, unfortunately, this is going to be my like last week of being able to stream regularly. So after this week, I'm not going to be able to like stream all that frequently. Which, of course, your last stream will be Saturday. Hey! But yeah, pretty much, like, I have to do college stuff eventually. And because of that, I'm gonna try to, like, stream. I'm gonna try to, like, stream every once in a while I'm on hiatus. Mostly so people know I'm not dead. And, you know, I'm just busy most of the time. But, yeah. Here's kind of something I need to do. So... yeah. I think I'm going to redo the arm here. But yeah. Once, you know, I'm, you know, in college, I'm probably going to try and, you know, in terms of getting my assignments done, I'm going to try and, you know, get them done as soon as I am able to do them. So, like, I'm gonna try and, you know, use certain, you know, things to, like, try and, you know, get all of it done. Luckily, since one of my classes is in person, I can probably, like, do a lot of the work and stuff, like, on campus during those days. Since, you know, I'll be, you know, doing a lot of work, working on assignments and all that. And once I, you know, have all my assignments done, I'm going to return to streaming as soon as I possibly can. Like, the earliest I might be able to return to streaming is like... Hold on. Let me go, get out the calendar. So, the earliest I might be able to return to streaming is May 8th, because I have an in-person class on May 7th. You'll be absent for streaming for probably like 3 to 4 months, but you'll be back with new things and whatnot. Yeah. And me too. It's kind of like 2 total months of hiatus for me. With like about 2 weeks from like the end of February and the beginning of March. So it's going to be like a total of 10 weeks on hiatus. You know, on my end, because that's how long my semester is gonna be. And of course, when I, you know, have the time in between classes and stuff, or if I just really need a break from doing, you know, classwork, I'm probably going to, like, work on some of my 2.0 stuff in the meantime. So... probably, like... if, for example, I will have nothing urgent to do, like, during spring break, for example, which I'm probably going to try and dedicate my spring break to doing all the assignments for my English class. Kind of like try and marathon it. And if I have, like, nothing really urgent that I need to do, like, if I have, like, more than a week to, during, like, for, like, all of my assignments at the time, I'm probably going to, like, take a little break and, like, work on some stuff for my 2.0 model and debut. Like, maybe work on some emotes and all that. Just like, you know, do some work on, you know, the 2.0. Work on, you know, other art-related stuff. Probably, like, do some character designing for the story that I've been working on. Which I'm probably going to do a write-a-thon on when I, you know, return to, you know, streaming. I probably, like, over the summer, or, like, do a write-a-thon where I figure out how long and I can, like, write a story for. Just see how much progress I can make in the story of Fatuly's Revenge over, like, the month of June or July. It's likely that I'll end up doing it during the month of July, because that is, you know, the anniversary of when I had my jaw surgery. It's been like nearly 6 years since I had my jaw surgery. Yeah, and that is a long time. Like, it's a really long time. And for, you know, working on a story. But I know that eventually it will be worth it. And now I'm gonna put those in there. And essentially, for the idea for the ending soon screen is that I'm just taking a little nap. Because I'm tired. And of course, we add some noise. I'm gonna save that. But yeah. So... I'm probably going to, like... You know... Once I'm kind of, like, done with my... You know... semester and all that, I am gonna, like... You know, do some stuff related to my classes. Well, no, not classes. I... Probably, like, once my, you know, classes are done, I'm going to begin working more on the, you know, try and, like, do a little bit of hyping up for my 2.0 debut. Probably, like, release a few videos on my Blue Sky, kind of previewing you know, what I can do with the model. I could probably show off the little plushy hold toggle. So... And... I'm gonna... add a bit of a dark overlay. To denote that it is nighttime. Or like just the... You know... the eepies. Need to go. It was nice being here for a while. Alright. Go do the things that you need to do. And I hope you have a good day. So, I think I can do some rendering on Ashlyn now. So,
Hello there.
also, hello, Mr. Pupple. Thank you for following. I hope you're doing well. I myself am doing quite swimmingly. Of course, this is, my last week of streaming for a while. For I'm gonna be, in college soon. Yo, indeed. Because this is my 3rd year of college, and, I need to, focus on getting my education a little bit. And if anything, what am I doing? I'm working on a new ending screen for my 2.0. Very cool. Indeed. Basically, yeah, I am, recently, I made some significant enough progress on my 2.0. So I think it's, very close to completion. You kind of sound like my sister in a good way. Yes. Because I am a sister. I find that a little funny because, I am, a sister. So the fact that you say I sound like your sister is just infinitely funny to me. I just have the aura of a little sister. Or I guess. Your sister is one of those people that searches for artifacts or whatever you call them. Ooh, that's cool. So, an archaeologist. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that indeed. But yeah, I'm kind of like just an artist who, if anything went differently, I'd probably be a historian. And guess what she found this week? Oh god. Was it something used in a quote-unquote fertility ritual? It's kind of like a joke, because sometimes you can't really explicitly say, hey, in an article of findings, like, hey, we found an ancient dildo. You have to refer to it as something used for a fertility ritual. Do not ask me why I have this information. I also know that sometimes they have to lick stuff in order to figure out if it's bones. Because bones kind of stick to your tongue. I have a lot of weird information. And that I can weaponize, unfortunately. Yeah. Rendering, rendering, rendering. Anyway, what did she find anyway? Was it like mammoth bones? It might have been mammoth bones. The answer was a book from 1688. Wow, that is fascinating. Like, really, really fascinating. But it's more of a journal. Yeah. A journal is still kind of a book. But still, that is pretty fascinating. I wonder what sort of stuff is in it. Like, insights into what the world was like back then. I mean, I used to be like a history buff. You know, back when I was in like middle school. And that was partially influenced by me being part of the Children of the American Revolution. Which is basically an all-exclusive club that you can only get into if you have a direct ancestor who was part of the American Revolution. Like if they were a soldier. Or like a spy. Yeah, it is pretty fascinating because that find means that we might be able to like discover more things about, you know, life back in the day. Here we go. But yeah. So, yeah. I'm pretty sure, like, in an alternate timeline, I'm like some sort of historian or something, like pursuing a major in history. I should probably not be shrimping so hard. Ugh. It is a good day outside, but there is a lot of pollen. So I am sort of feeling sucky. because, you know, the weather sucks when you have allergies and asthma, especially when you have asthma. Because asthma sucks ass. The event in the journal didn't match up with any historical records, so in your opinion, it either meant to be like a story or it's written by a schizophrenic person. Ah, yes, schizophrenia. I am very familiar with that because my grandma had it. She's dead, though. You don't have to feel sorry for me, by the way. It was bound to happen. But yeah. Of course. So I'm making pretty good progress on this. Which means that probably like eventually I'll be completing this. That means y'all will get a fresh new PNG to observe while I end stream. But yeah. I am, of course. Am I gonna go on for like 2 more hours? I mean, there's gonna be art for the next few weeks anyway. So, I mean, not next few weeks, next few days. So, I'm not like starved of the times to like draw stuff. At least for, you know, this week. Once I am in college, however, and like actively in my semester, there is going to be a little different. Because, you know, I'll be, you know, doing all my classes and stuff. And not be able to, like, stream in for a while. All due to, you know, the whole actively in a semester thing. But once I am done with the semester, I will be back to stream for like a few months and then eventually return to doing school again. Because college is a never-ending cycle. School is just never-ending cycle of education and acquiring. Now it is time to do this. And there we go. I'm kind of like just working on doing some rendering over here. Like just working on this sort of stuff. And, you know, I will eventually, like, once I am done with this, I will... My starting soon screen is pretty much done too. So it's kind of like just some stuff like the panels that I need to work on. And of course, once those are done, I can, you know, work on the new emojis. And once all of that is done, I can probably, like, finally rest a little bit. And just focus on, you know, the debut. And yeah. There we go. But yeah. Once I am, you know, done with all this, you know, and stuff, I am going to, like, probably work on stuff that isn't this, or just, like, take a break to play games and stuff. Like, obviously not, like, when stream is done. When I'm done doing this during stream, like, after stream. And, yeah. How's the arting going along? Hello, Azimus. It's going quite well. I'm kind of like just trying to work on this. And once it is, you know, done, I can probably like work on something else. Or at the very least, once I'm done working on the main piece, which is Ashlyn. And over here. Getting close to being done, or yeah, just getting close to finishing one part of the, you know, piece. Of course, it's not like fully done. And basically just... the main thing I need to do is draw the other pillow, which is going to be pretty easy because I can just use the curved line tools. And then I need to draw all the plushies on the bed. Which I'm probably going to like use the ones I have on my bed right now as a reference. Of course, I will have to grab them. But, of course, they will eventually be grabbed. I'm probably just gonna, like, work on these. Once I'm done with, like, the highlights and stuff, I'm going to, like, go to the bathroom and do my intermission. Because I need to use the bathroom soon. Oh, hey, Max! A little girl has decided to interrupt me. She came out of her hiding spot just to say, "Hi! I'm here! I'd like some attention! Give me attention!" Looks nice so far. Keep it up. Thank you. So right now I have like nearly 2 hours on this. And of course, hello little girly. I have a kitty interrupting me. But that's no biggie. So, add glow. Hi. She's being very affectionate right now. I just gotta blur this out. If my cat will let me. Maggie! She made me switch to a different tool. You silly girl. She just wants attention. She just wants it so bad. Magda! She's like getting on top of my keyboard and stuff. But yeah, I'm going to go do another intermission so that I can, use the bathroom and give Magda the affection she desperately craves. So I shall be back. Alright, I'm back. I gave the Maggie Moog some affection. I'm pretty sure I have some fur in my mouth because of that, but I felt like I almost fell out of my chair. Oh god. Yeah. Right now she is looking at the window. So apparently there's gonna be some major snow. Like sometime in this week. So my mom is just like gonna go to the store later. I am of course gonna join her. Because, you know, activities of mother and daughter. Because they sometimes include going to the store. Or before, you know, a snowstorm. Weirdly enough, where I live, we usually only really get one major snowstorm. From like every 4 years. It's almost always the even year that is, you know, between the elections. But earlier this year, back in like January, we had a lot of snow. Like, I found it weird because I'm just like, the snow is ahead of schedule. It was just like, wait, this is not meant to happen this year. So, yeah. We had snow. Of course, this is, you know... Of course, my state does get snow every year, but it's just... I live in the southern part of it, so we don't get snow as often as our northern neighbors. So, because of that, it kind of like vibe checked me. And now, it is time to do more rendering shenanigans. Which includes adding blush. Because that is, of course, an important detail. Sorry, I thought someone opened my door. Even Maggie was just like, what's going on? What is going on? Yeah, what's going on? My little girl. She has decided to investigate. So now, what I'm going to do is that I am going to select this area and just blur as much as I can. And the reason why I'm using the select is so that it doesn't like encroach on any other areas. So like, here. I am doing it a little bit here as well, so that it doesn't encroach onto either the eyes or the hair, or just like generally where it's not meant to go. So, and now a little trickier place. But with the select tool, it can go by pretty quickly. And I am, of course, going to do this with all the fingers here. So essentially, I'm just blocking off certain areas of the skin on the fingers. And then just blurring it all out. Of course, the opacity is going to be taken down a notch in the finishing touches. This is mostly so like it's kind of like for the sake of, you know, detail. Just a little more lightly. Of course, this is mostly so y'all have like something somewhat pretty to look at, because the ending screen is probably just gonna end up being just a PNG. I don't think I'm going to really animate this. Like, if I do end up animating it, it's probably going to be like something very subtle. Like maybe like little sparkles. There we go. I can save that. And of course, something else I need to do is like the plushies. But yeah, I can move that a little bit. Oh, hi! The Maggie Moog has decided that I need to give her affection. Okay, girly. Get that you want. Squeak. I love you. I love you so much. She did not want me to hold her. There she goes. The little Goyle. But yeah. Cats tend to have some attitude. Yeah. I mean, they are cats after all. And now... Oh, she's back. She's like, I'm back. Meow. I like attention. Meow. And she immediately jumped off. Because she is sippy. Where do you want to go? I have no idea what she wants. But she is, of course, a very silly little girl. So she probably just wants my attention. He mostly really likes me because I'm the one who gives her her medication. I'm usually the one that gives her her kitty petting. Which, by the way, kitty petting is just gabapentin. I'm just it's just for cats, so I just refer to it as kitty petting. Because she is, of course, a very silly girl. I'm gonna... What kind of medicine does the cat need? She's prescribed gabapentin because she is, very anxious. Let's just say that. And that leads to her often becoming a target of the older, her tabby cat. And that she often, like, will literally poop herself. Because of that. It's just very hard being the smallest calico in the house. So her kitty petting is meant to, like, have her calm down a little bit. And she is, of course, very silly, and she sometimes trolls. She kind of gained that from her, like, Papa Cat figure, Cryptid, who's, like, you know, a void boy, and is therefore very silly. Does not like a cute cat. Yeah, she likes to squeak. In fact, her mama and her little sister squeak as well. They are just squeaky kitties. Yeah, I'll just go squeak. They are the squeakiest little kitties that I have ever seen. Or heard. But yeah. Sounds very cute. You do like when cats and kitties purr. Yeah. In fact, some of the kitties purr a lot. And they purr loudly. Case in point, the people cat. His name is Mao. He is a tuxedo cat, and he's like 16 years old. So he is one of the oldest of men. "16, goddamn, indeed, he is an old man." Our cats usually survive to their 20s. But Mr. Meow Meow is a very energetic kitty. Despite his old age, he can keep up with the younger kitties. Old man, that cat is ancient, was around for Nam. Oh god. But yeah. The Kimpties are silly creatures. And we have 8 of them. Actually, let me go grab one of my stuff. You shall be my sacrifice. The itty bitty calico who desires to leave the room, but unfortunately, she tends to get attacked by another kitty. He is the second oldest. His name is Bennett. And hi. He tends to attack her. And is just like generally a little menace. Hi! Which sometimes she does provoke him. But usually whenever she like has the high ground is when she, you know, like thwacks him. The cat that attacks her is also ancient. He's like 15. Yeah, some of my cats are pretty old. They're just very sillies. Now Magda is making biscuits on my blanket. Because she is very silly. She is very confused as to why I just Yoda plushie at her. Jesus, you got a home for cats? Well, only those two are like very ancient. The next eldest cat is like 10. And now I must grab another plush. This time, this one is the one I use for my physical therapy. I just randomly got at a Whole Foods, like sometime before I realized that I need to, you know, do physical therapy. It's kind of like just a bean with a face. Yeah, a lot of my cats are pretty old. And this plushie has like little nubs for legs. And like, there's a very tiny little tail. But yeah, a lot of my cats are, you know, pretty ancient. And these are only like 2 of the plushies I have. I have a lot of plushies. Like, a lot of them are in fact on a literal, like, how old are the younger cats? They're not actually kittens. It's just Magda is just very small. The youngest is actually 5. Is turning 5 soon. So she's like 4 right now. The itty bitty calico is in fact 6. Or like is turning 6 soon. We don't actually know when she was born. Because she was a sewer calico. She's making biscuits on the plush I'm currently having in my lap, by the way. Yeah, she's like 6 years old. As of this year. You know, she's actually 5. She's turning 5 since she was, you know, born in like the early part of the pandemic. Her little sister, her Wenji, who is a fluffy calico, and also one of the biggest cats in our house, only rivaled by her mother. Maggie, I need to draw. You silly little Goyle. She knocked down the sticky note that I'm using as my to-do. She's silly. She is terminally silly. Maggie, no! You're not allowed to go on my PC! She's like, fine. If you won't let me commit crimes, I'm just gonna weave. But yeah, I have a lot of cats. Like, I feel like our upper limit, as in like the household I have, is like 8 cats. I mean, for a period of time, we did have 10. But that was because Magda's mama cat gave birth to 4 kittens. We gave 2 of the kittens away. They were both tabbies. And we kept the 2 fluffy ones, who turned out to end up being Maine Coons. But we only knew that they were Maine Coons because one of them died from a condition that often affects Maine Coons. But yeah, we're probably not gonna get any more cats unless like one of the old cats die. And usually we don't end up like I need a cat. The cats end up fighting us. Like, our most recent addition, Silver, who is a silver tabby, of course. He kind of like decided to live with us. He like chose us to be his family. We were already kind of like feeding him and stuff, because we tend to like feed the strays. He's in our household. Tabbies are very cute. You like the orange cats? There are always. He's silly. Yeah. They tend to be kind of silly. But sometimes they're just full of violence. Or they're generally just very strange. So yeah. Kitties tend to be very sippy. Especially if they are, you know, cats that that choose you. Like, sometimes you do not choose the cat chooses you. Or because of events that happen in, you know, the lives of the people in your life, you just happen upon ending up with the cat because they can't take care of the kitty, and they know that you probably can. Yeah, that's what they say. Cats don't adopt you. Cats adopt you. You don't adopt them. Yeah, you have to be chosen by a cat in order for them to truly love you. They gotta choose to spend time with you on their own volition in order for you to be truly chosen. Or like you get chased by them and they try to commit insurance fraud. That is one other thing that they can do. Which is like one of the more common ways is that cats show their love through committing insurance fraud. It's like, I love you. I'm going to try and knock you over, so you can spend more time with me. Because cats are inherently creatures of mischief. And sometimes will just run and the moment they hear you wake up to your room, so that they can greet you when you know, open the door. Also, for anyone wondering, thinking that cats will inherently ignore you, who would, like, often and are just, like, relatively not very social animals, you'd be wrong. Please give them a friend. They can get very lonely. Like, they can get very, very lonely if, you know, they're alone. Like, interact with her local kitties. Interact with them so they don't end up being lonely. And if you can't always be with them, then give them a friend. Like, it's always better to, like, adopt 2 cats than just 1. And especially if this is, you know, your first time getting cats. Usually, they're going to need, like, a buddy. Sometimes you can be the buddy, but it's always good to give them options, you know? Give them more than one buddy. So that they can spend time with each other. And just do cat things. Like commit crimes. But yeah. If you are ever in a position where you are adopting cats, have the cat choose you and make sure to get them a friend. Like, if they have a kitty who they get along with very well, or is like their friend, adopt that cat too. They will, of course, be the best of friends. Because they're buddies. They're little fundos. Just Tomodachis. Tomomeowchis, if you would. Mischievous little creatures for sure. Indeed. But of course, they will always love you if you allow them to get warmed up to you. Like, you need to give them time and space. Like, usually if you want to, you know, have a cat befriend you, you leave them into their own space. They know, hey, this person isn't violating my personal space. They're cool. I can just infiltrate their space. Accepting kitty boundaries is how the kitties will know that you are a cool guy. And then you will end up being surrounded by cats. What a wonderful world that we live in. Also, some cats prefer certain types of affection. Some cats will want you to slap their butt very hard, and they will enjoy it very thoroughly. And there is often the butt tap ritual with cats. Like, if a cat wants you to tap their butt, they will tell you when they want their butt to be tapped. You just got back and you're hearing about ass smacking on cats and them enjoying it? Yep. Cats will enjoy sometimes if you just smack their tushies. In fact, the orange cat specifically loves butt taps. Like, specifically on the armchair, or in the living room, he will meow at me asking for her butt taps. And of course, I give him butt taps. Because that is what he wants. And he will end up purring a lot after those butt taps. He is a very strange cat. He's like the only cat who is able to open the sliding door or in the master bathroom. Like, so far, none of the other cats know how to do that. It's literally just him. He is the only cat who knows how to open the sliding bathroom door. He is weirdly intelligent. I think he has all the orange cat's brain cells. Makes you think that your orange cat goes to go, honk. Yeah, he likes to go, He, like, kind of honks, does that little honk thingy. He just goes, and just, like, he just wants taps. He wants his booty tapped. And he will purr very loudly. He wants you to tap his butt. Because, of course, the cat desires the tappy butt. You must provide them with the tappy butt. Some cats prefer it a little more gentle. Some of them prefer it rough. Like, they want you to pat them as hard as you are physically capable of doing so with her gremlin little hands. And they will thank you for it. Through profusely purring. You don't judge if the cats want booty pats, then they'll have booty pats, I suppose. Yeah. And now there is a cat in front of my face. Girly, you're messing up my tracking. Yum. And besides, some cats don't really like getting their butt tapped. Sometimes they prefer squinch. And sometimes they just want pets. Sometimes they want belly rubs. Usually if, they have spent time with, humans a lot when they were a little kitten, they might be enjoying belly rubs and, like, being jostled. Like, cats love being gently jostled. Sometimes they just want to be jiggled around in a little like, container. And they will look up at you with loving eyes. Is when you jostle them gently. Sometimes you can just, like, jostle their paws, and they just look up at you with love. What is jostled? Like, you don't know how to type it, but you haven't heard the word before? Oh, jostle, like, gentle shaking and stuff. Let me type it in chat for you. Like that. That is what jostling is. It's kind of like just gently, like, shaking your cat a little bit. Because sometimes they like it. Never heard that before, neat. Yeah. Also, when they, like, need feed into blankets and stuff, and sometimes into your boobs. I'm directly looking at you, Mags, because you did that a lot. It actually there is, in fact, an actual word for it. It's called snurgling. And it's basically the term used when cats, like, need. Usually, when kittens, they do it for, like, to stimulate the breast to produce breast milk. To the mama cat. But sometimes when they're adults, they still do it likely for, like, comfort. Because I know that they tend to purr a lot when making those biscuits. Magda! Maggie! She's being silly. Trying to get up on a place where she's probably gonna knock stuff down. Because she is just a little goblin sometimes. But yeah. Some people will tell you that certain colors have certain traits. This is mostly just commonalities. These between certain pets. It's, you know, like orange cats tending to be weirder, but to be fair, all cats are really weird. That's pretty chaotic over there. Yeah. It is chaotic when you have, like, 8 cats. And I don't think we're going to get any more until at least one of them dies. As in, we kind of, like, can justify getting another cat. I don't think we can really justify, like, taking in another cat. And until one of the older one is no longer in the world. But yeah, that's probably not gonna happen. I don't think we're going to end up getting any new cats for a while. Like, the earliest is probably, like, the end of the decade. Let's just say that. That's probably when we're going to end up getting a new cat, if any. Let's probably, like, slowly wait for the amount of cats we have to, like, go down before we consider, like, getting a new one. But to be fair, the cat distribution system works in very mysterious ways. So it's very likely that we'll, like, end up taking in another cat. If it's a similar situation to when we got Wrinkle and Magda, and we end up taking in a mama cat, and who ends up giving birth to kittens that we have to give away. I don't know. Just know that if that does happen, I'm going to be making a lot of kitten posts. I'm gonna end up kitten posting. You know, a lot. Because kittens are cute. And they must be posted to the internet. People love cats and kittens, so kitten posting seems like a win-win. Yeah, that and, you know, since I, you know, have 8 cats, probably, like, as like an intermediary bit of content, and when I'm, you know, in college, I'm probably going to make a bunch of, you know, cat videos and probably post them to, you know, Blue Sky and YouTube. You know, while, you know, I am under the intermission. But yeah, I think this is pretty close to being done. I just need to add text. seems like a good color. But yeah. That's probably what I'm gonna end up doing. Is, you know, I like this. You know, like, probably like making a bunch of content with cats, or like posting all of my cats onto the interwebs. That, and probably like, you know, messing around with my 2.0 model once I, you know, finish making it. Because, you know, some stuff needs to be done. So, yeah. So, something else I wanted to do is that I wanted to like make a little sketch of Folly's villain alter ego. So, essentially, to explain, you know, what in the world well, this is, essentially, the Ignite, which is kind of like the alter ego of, you know, Folly, is kind of like a supervillain, but it's like essentially Robin Hood, but instead of stealing from the rich, she just kills them. Working on some deep lore, yeah. But of course, this is for a story that I don't think I'm going to be working on for, like... What are you doing, Mags? She was trying to go under my riser, the silly girl. But essentially, Folly, because she kind of like knows that, you know, part of the reason why like the world is as shitty as it is because of, you know, the people in power. And because of that, had she, you know, knows exactly who to target. And because the city she lives in is conveniently an area where a lot of businesses are, like very well-known businesses in the world, she is kind of like able to, you know, target them. And, you know, specifically their CEOs, and just like, she knows who to target because of, you know, she is just angry at the world for what it has ended up. And the reason why why that is because she is part of a species of humans known as scions. And she specifically... I think Magda's rolling at the door. I'm just gonna ignore her. But essentially, so Ignite is basically her alter ego, where she, takes action. And Folly is like one of the characters who was made because of the superhero program that is essentially like that forces scions to have children with each other even if they, don't really want to, just to make more powerful heroes and stuff. She is like part of the second generation of those who, who were born under that program. The first generation, of course, being their parents. And of course, as Ignite, her body is just like completely covered in flame. And it's like very hot flames that can like melt glass, as in stone. And she uses that to like essentially just burn people into just ash. And she knows exactly who to target, because she, knows that most of the people... It's always fun to world build if you also know how to draw it. It helps a lot to imagine that world. Yeah. Essentially, for Ignite, her whole shtick is, I am mad at the world and I am going to do something about it in a way that I know best. Burning things down, essentially. Like, if she knows, like who is causing a specific issue with, the world, and she is able to reasonably access as to where they live and stuff, she is going to target them. If there's like a business convention where a lot of the people who, cause harm to the environment or to people in other countries are attending, she's going to crash it and just ruin it for everyone. She basically wants to make the world better for the common folk in the only way that she knows how. And that is through setting things on fire, including people. But yeah, that is kind of like, Folly / Ignite in a nutshell. She does, of course, do a lot of performances, but she limits her powers a lot during these performances. And just in general, so people just assume that she isn't as powerful as she actually is. So I'm going to do the final part of stream. I'm working on all of this. Essentially, I am just working on you have no clue what that is, but it looks complicated. This is Live2D. Essentially, it's what makes VTuber models, including the one I'm currently using right now. There's a lot of parameters and stuff that you kind of like need to do here. It involves a lot of stuff. It's the avatar, got it. Yeah. Essentially, that is what it is. So, basically, this is just how the, you know, model comes to life. And, of course, sometimes you kind of need to do certain things. Like, you have to do a lot of, like, meshing with, doing stuff with all of the parameters in order to, like, make sure it looks good. Essentially, like the corners. That is what we are kind of like doing. And, yeah. Did I make it myself? Yep, I made this myself. This is entirely my own creation. This took like 30 hours in Clip Studio Paint to make. Like the model itself, pretty much. And then of course it took even longer to, you know, set up everything in Live2D. Nicely done. Yeah, I'm glad you think so. Right now I'm just like fixing up all of the, you know, parameters here. So that, you know, when this is done, there is a minimal amount of, you know, problems whenever I like do stuff with the model. So like the minimal amount of fuck-ups as possible. I'm doing my best. I'll improve more and more with time. Keep at it. Thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it. But yeah. I am, of course, doing all the half-steppy. I'm probably going to put some of these stuff into different folders. Here's once I'm done. Like, you know. Like the shoulder rotations, I'm probably going to like add a new folder. Which I'm gonna grab all of those and put them into arm rotations. Label color purple. Because I am going to replicate the 3 body parameters, and I'm going to change them to OGG for the sake of, you know, doing everything. And after, you know, I finish, you know, this model, I will eventually, like, start testing it out in Live2D. I mean, VTube Studio. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Right now I'm getting a video out. It's like kind of like and I'm going to get up my physics settings over here, and I am going to modify all of this stuff. And essentially, if I turn the body, this is just the steppy. It only responds to like the most extreme. And over here, I am going to add the augmented face position Z. So I probably need to like combine the parameters. And I'm using Hanakyu as like a bit of reference. So, the effectiveness of angle Y for input is 45. They also add breath at 5. I'm probably gonna make it just 2. You know, just 1. And then they add face position Z as an angle. So face position Z is right here. So basically, the face position Z is basically looking forward and back. I think there's a mistake with the right steppy. Because this isn't really meant to slide. Go with the right side. I think I need to okay, so it isn't an issue with either of these parameters. I think it's probably like an issue specifically with like one folder is called Booba. Indeed, this is all alien to you. Haven't seen this program in your life. Yeah, Booba is basically just all the boob physics over here. It's basically, you know, the movement of the chest. Or like the bouncy bouncy bounce. You know, the boing boing boing. And of course, there are more stuff. There's more stuff with this, you know, like hair physics and all that. So, I can't have an avatar without that, indeed. So, yeah. Essentially, I think I need to like... So I have a bunch of physics here. So... I think I'm going to, increase the priority of certain ones. And I think I might have accidentally, like, I might need to swap these. So, yeah. I think I'm probably going to add, like, a bit of the, hair move thing that I added over here. I'm sure I'll figure it out. Yeah. Essentially... So, the hair move thing is not something that I added to this model, as y'all can probably tell. I didn't really, like... So... I'm essentially going to move all of this. Add this to the parameter. What's the thing that goes from the lip to the nose? Oh, this is a cleft lip. It's something I have, you know, since, you know, I had a bit of it. It's basically like caused by, you know, a pause in growth in the face of the baby. So essentially, it's like if one side of the face pauses for a bit and then resumes. Yeah. I also have that in real life. That's why I added it to both the 2.0 and the model I'm currently using. In fact, it's something I had in my 3D models as well. You know, back when I used those. It was before I, you know, debuted this model. And even a little bit after I debuted this model because the model was incomplete. You know, the famous actor Joaquin Phoenix also has that? Yeah, he does. Hold on, kimchi beans, we. I'm going to delete this parameter. And, Magda is being very affectionate right now. What you doing, girl? I know. I'm working on stuff.
Yum.
Yeah, it's like relatively uncommon. You know, in the developed world. I know that you know, can. It is somewhat a little more common in other places. But for me, it is like something that I rarely ever see. Like, I've never met someone else in real life that has a cleft palate. Now I'm going to add a new physics set. And input preset is... I'm gonna do some of the presets. That's for this. Modify the minimum and maximums. Add another pendulum. My stomach is like growling at me. So 25 to 25 for scale. So what are you doing? The cleft lip is uncommon. Yeah, especially in like... It's a little more common in countries like the Philippines and stuff. Of course, that all kind of like depends. So on certain things. So... Weird. Magda is now in front of my tracking camera. She is being very silly. What happens when you have this very silly kitty? She's not really all that silly, she's just demanding attention. Yeah, in like 10 minutes I'm going to end stream because I, you know, need to, you know, kind of like... So... Gonna get some sleep. Good luck with their avatar and the rest of the Alright, if you go back to sketching the alter ego. Yeah. I'm probably gonna end the stream in like a few minutes anyway. Maybe because, you know, I need food. The Maggie is demanding more attention. What are you doing, girl? She's being silly. So... Hello? Magda! Maggie, no! Hold on. 30 by 30. I'm eventually gonna get to this. Because Maggie is demanding attention and my stomach is being like, you need food. What'd you do? Alright. That is physics. And now Magda is just rubbing all over my microphone. She's probably gonna accidentally turn it off eventually. If she hasn't already once. But yeah. This is kind of like just... I'm going to now add the other arm rotations. So that now it is all very floppy. As y'all can see. But yeah. Eventually I will end stream so that I can make myself foods. And once I make food, once I, have my dinner, I'm going to my mom to the store since there's going to be a winter storm. There's going to be snow soon. And that is kind of like, kind of bad. Like, probably, probably a good idea to, like, stock up on food that we can eat before the whole snow stuff happens. What are you doing, girl? Magda's just being silly. But yeah. Once I, get all that done, you clean oak board. Yeah. So, fortunately, as this, is getting very close to being done, I will eventually be able to do certain stuff. Do things trademarked with the model. But over the spring semester, I'm going to slowly add some of the new things into the whole streaming setup. And, of course, once I am able to, I'm going to, start setting up the whole debut thing. Probably, make little previews of certain things. For example, show off certain things of the model. And that's probably going to, slowly happen until I reach the point where I am ready to debut the model. Which, given, let me go check my calendar again. So, July 3rd is going to be a Thursday. That is the anniversary of when I had my jaw surgery and the day that I debuted for this current model that I'm using right now. It was very scuffed back then, but I'm going to try and, do stuff with this model to make sure that does not happen in this time when I debut this model. But yeah, I am going to be here tomorrow with some Skyrim. It's just going to alternate between drawing and Skyrim for this week. Until I'm able to prepare for, doing all of my stuff. But yeah, I'll be here tomorrow at 1 p.m. EST. And I'll be seeing y'all tomorrow. Bye, y'all!